Every Friday, we get told what the biggest songs are. This series is not about the biggest songs. It's about the records that are actually pushing hip-hop forward, okay? Some of these artists you heard of. Some of these artists you may have not heard of. But if you are looking for music with real ideas, real production, and real lyricism, these are 3 songs that actually matter right now. So first up is Wiggity Wag by Tierra. I actually had the chance to attend a listening party for this album before it officially came out. And this particular record was one of the ones that stood out to me immediately. One reason is the production. This particular record, along with a couple other records on Tierra Whack's album, from her album Wax Museum, this particular song, like I said, like a couple others, is produced by Conductor Williams. Conductor Williams produced this for her. Conductor has become one of the most recognizable producers in hip-hop over the last few years. His sound has this gritty, cinematic feel, but Tierra uses it in a way that still feels playful and uniquely hers. And you know what's crazy? I don't feel like enough people appreciate or realize how intentional Tierra is with everything that she does. Every flow change, every vocal inflection, every bar, every little pocket she jumps into seems very thought out, which I appreciate. Because compared to these other female rappers out here, oh Lord, Philly, we shitting on them. And I love that Tierra Whack is rapping. This is her first official rap album. You know, she has a few albums, of course, that came out prior to this one. However, they are more so, and she is rapping a little bit on some of them albums, but as far as I'm concerned, I would consider them more so alternative pop, you know, type music. But she's always been a rapper at her core. Her doing the kind of albums that she did prior to this particular album, I didn't expect, because I personally have been a fan of hers since we was in high school. Okay? So, or prior to high school, actually. You feel me? She, you know, she from Philly as well, and I knew of her rapping at that time when she went by a different name at that point. However, okay, she always been a rapper at her core. So once she got on and once she got signed, I was happy for her, of course. But I'm just like, what you doing, girl? You be rapping. You feel me? I wanted her to rap. Now she fucking rapping. And I am pleased. I'm not mad at her old projects that she was doing. You feel me? They're just not sonically for me, and that's okay. But I respect her craft, though, nonetheless. With that being the case, the timing meant everything. Like, it was so many things that had to take place for this album to be respected and hit how it is currently being respected and hit, okay? So everything makes sense in due time, you know? It was a beautiful experience seeing her perform this live and her break down her own bars and her own thoughts on why she says certain things in her songs and the ideas that she had with the intentionality of why she chose to create this. And she's very proud of this body of work, I can tell, which she should be, because it is A1 across the board. I believe anyone would think that for the most part. Even if it's not for you for whatever reason, there's nothing wrong with the album. It's just not for you. You feel me? She's one of the few artists that we have out here right now who always still approaches her album like complete artistic experience instead of just chasing playlist records. Because most of her peers, and we just looking at other female rappers, only people that she is on the same like totem pole with that has maybe any type of competition for her is like Shade Noir or Rhapsody or China Beijing, and just in terms of lyrics and stuff, you feel me? But at the end of the day, right, and I just said friendly competition, you feel me? For real, she don't got no competition as far as I'm concerned. She is 10,000 times better than most of these bitches out here. And what people fail to realize, right, when it comes to someone that usually does have a skill with their pen or with their mouth, a lot of times they may not be able to make a good record. Like, for example, we look at battle rap, right? Just quick side note. We look at battle rap. A lot of battle rappers are known for making shitty records, but they pen crazy, you know, when they really want to like write. But in terms of their ear for music, it's not there. Another thing that I'm happy about with this particular album, well, with this song attached to the album, the fact that she worked with Conductor Williams and a few other producers on this project made perfect sense. And her being a Philly artist at the end of the day, one of the main things that Philly artists lack, as far as I'm concerned, and anybody that got a real ear would agree with me, we don't have a sound currently. Like, yeah, vocally you might hear our accents when people rapping or whatever, but in terms of like a production sound, we don't really have a sound. The sound that we have is like dated. You feel me? Like, we have a dated, like, I feel like people know like a early 2000s Philly sound, but we don't currently have a sound. So I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like with this particular album, because outside of her being from Philly, she is one of the top rappers out here. She's already Grammy nominated for previous albums that she did. So hopefully, and I foresee that this particular album will also get Grammy nominated. She could possibly win Best Rap Album, for real, you feel me? And it's just the EP. It is an album, but it's short listening. It's like less than 30 minutes, or it's about 30 minutes long. This song matters because she is pushing rap forward in the best way possible, especially on the female side. Because like one of my last videos I was talking about, we need more Tierra wax out here. You know, only Tierra could be whack, you feel me? But we need more people to follow in her footsteps in terms of their lyricism, what they're rapping about. She not on her, she didn't say, oh, I'm gonna pop my pussy at any point in time. You feel me? I love and I respect and appreciate Tierra Wake's existence, like wholeheartedly. But next song, another Philly native, Young Chris. So Young Chris also recently dropped an album, and the first song on here is called Fine Wine and Steak. And Fine Wine and Steak, well, the album itself is called Made in Philly, which I love, because, you know, we made in Philly, nigga. I'm from Germantown, that nigga from Nicetown. I don't know what part of North Tierra Wake is from, but nonetheless, like, you know, we getting deep in this bitch. Yeah, the first song on Young Chris's Made in Philly album was called Fine Wine and Steak. Now, his album is also, well, he has an exclusively produced album by MadeinTYO. So if you know MadeinTYO, he's a producer. He also used to rap a lot. He still does rap, but he seems to be focused on producing, which I didn't know he was on that until this album came out, and I thought it was beautiful. I'm like, oh, all right, that's what's up. The project sounds very intentional. For real, this particular video should be not like 3 songs that matter, but 3 albums that matter. But nonetheless, I'm gonna continue. So Young Chris always been one of our top smoothest rappers from Philly, period. He doesn't get nowhere near enough credit. That nigga got multiple Grammys and shit. You feel me? He don't get no credit. So I'm gonna give him his flowers through, I don't know, my highlighting of his song. What I like about this record, it sounds very effortless. Of course it should, because he been doing this for some time, since he was a teenager. I don't know who set up how he linked up with MadeinTYO, but I'm happy it happened, because they make beautiful music together. I would actually like to hear a second project from them together, Made in Philly Part 2. You feel me? That would be lit. And the production gives him room to rap. It's not competing with it. It's a perfect blend of the production and his rapping. You know, oftentimes these days, you know, one may outweigh the other, no matter what kind of rapper it is. If it's a lyrical rapper, if it's a non-lyrical rapper, a lot of times the production might, you know, overshine the nigga rapping. But this is not the case. It's a perfect blend. You feel me? You hear both sides carrying their weight perfectly. He sounds real comfortable on the beat. He sounds very comfortable. The first song is definitely grown and sexy. Because Young Chris kind of reminds me, just vocally, and I mentioned this to a couple people, they kind of disagree, but I feel like y'all feel where I'm coming from. But vocally, to me, he sounds like an East Coast Jeezy. Like, like they have a certain, like they got like this raspiness in their voice. They got a similar, they don't got the same voice at all, but it's a similar cadence with how they rap. And then I guess probably the production too that they might gravitate towards. So yeah, nonetheless, this joint is fire. If you appreciate quote unquote like grown and sexy rap with some clean production and great delivery, I think you should definitely check out Fine Wine and Steak. Because the song is giving fine wine and steak sonically. It gives you that quiet luxury, you feel me? So my last pick is Bart and Pap Brew by Bart Oatmeal featuring Papoose. So I also had the opportunity to attend this listening party as well for Bart Oatmeal's project. So this project that this particular song is from is called Steel Cut to the Big Apple. Just to give, I don't know, I guess more context on why it's called Steel Cut. Like steel cut oats, like oatmeal, since his name is Bart Oatmeal. So yeah, and to the Big Apple, like New York City or whatever, because he's from LA. Before the listening party, I did hear this song and I heard this album and I fucked with it. But it was really cool hearing him, you know, perform basically the song in person. I'm not sure who produced this song, but the beat is like beautiful. Something that a lot of people might not know is that Bart Oatmeal is actually retired NBA player Baron Davis. Seeing someone successfully transition from being a NBA player to getting into making music successfully is already very interesting. You don't really see it happen. Like, you see a lot of ball players nowadays that are actively playing ball, you know, make a couple rap songs, maybe make an album or something, and that's just that. And I always hated it, but he's not playing no more. You feel me? Believe he got a podcast and all that, like a sports-based podcast. And on the other hand, he playing in the rap world, in hip hop, because he always had this love for hip hop. And what impressed me the most about him as an artist, that he doesn't lean on him being, you know, an ex-NBA player in his music necessarily. Like he doesn't rely on that to carry him. He actually kind of seems like he's keeping the two separate. So it's like, if you know, you know, which I appreciate too. I think that's pretty cool. So this particular project by Baron Davis is presented by Doe Networks, and they paired Bart with one of hip hop's most respected lyricists, Papoose. Whether you know it or not, I don't know, you know, how tapped in y'all into Papoose as an actual rapper, but Papoose can rap. Papoose got a lot of handful of like good classic songs that I'm familiar with. And I felt like these two artists genuinely came together to like tap in with each other for the love of good music. You feel me? The chemistry works perfectly. So if you someone that still appreciates bars and just good sounding hip hop, definitely worth checking out. That's why this one also made my list. Again, 3 songs: Tierra, Wickety Whack, Young Chris, Fine Wine and Steak, and Bart Oatmeal, Bart and Pap Brew. Definitely check them out. Check out these 3 projects as a whole. All 3 of these projects have personally been heavy in my rotation as well. My name is Sana. If you don't know, now you know.